Hi, it's Devin with Apple Pie Tutors, and today we are going to be going over converting a trinomial from standard form to vertex form. Both of these forms have great information where you can just look at it and see how this parabola is going to look. With standard form, we always have it set to 0 because we're solving to find where the x's are going to cross the x-intercept where y equals 0. So unless you're dealing with a perfect square trinomial, which we'll go over in another video, you're always going to have two answers for x, and it's going to be where x is crossing the x-intercept, where the y is 0. So that's why it's set to 0. Vertex form, on the other hand, is where you're able to find this point right here is either the highest or the lowest point on the parabola, depending on if you're dealing with a positive or negative. And you can find this point when you put it in vertex form with this h and the k. The h is going to be the x, and then the k is going to be the y. So that is going to be the ordered pair for the vertex of the parabola. So let's get started. All right, now that I've got that erased, let's start out with just a basic trinomial. We're going to keep the coefficient for x squared at a 1 because when it's not 1, there's an extra step that's involved, and we'll cover that on another video. So for now, let's keep the coefficient for x squared just 1. So let's do the equation x squared minus 6x minus 2 equals 0. All right. Now if you look at the vertex form, you can see that there's a perfect square here. So if you want to convert anything to a perfect square, we have to do a process called completing the square. And it's super fun. So with completing the square, we know that this 2 is not going to be a part of it. So we're just going to put that to the side for now. So we're going to have x squared minus 6x. And then we are going to put a number here. So we're going to have plus blank. Since we're getting rid of this 2, it's negative 2 on this side. So what are we going to do to bring it to the other side? We're going to add 2. So equals positive 2. And since we're adding a number to one side, we have to add the same number to the other half. Whatever happens on one side, you have to do to the other side to keep it equal. But what number are we going to put here? It has to be the number that is going to turn this into a perfect square trinomial. That way, we can get this portion of vertex form. So there is a little trick to figure out that number. So the trick to find that number is use a simple formula. It is b over 2 squared. So half of b and then squared. So half of 6 is going to be b. A would be 1, b would be 6, and c is 2. So half of 6 is 3, and then you square 9. So we're going to add 9 to both sides. Now let's rewrite this so that we can clean it up a little bit. So now we have x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals, we add our 2 and our 9 together for 11. Now that we have it cleaned up a bit, we can see here that this is a perfect square trinomial. And we have to think of a number. What is two numbers that you add together that equal negative 6, but when multiplied together equal positive 9? That would be negative 3. So we know that the square is going to be x minus 3 squared equals 11. But we want it to match vertex form, we need to bring this 11 back over. So if it's positive 11 on this side, what do we have to do to get rid of it? Subtract it. So this is going to be x minus 3 squared minus 11 equals y. So now we have it in vertex form. So what is the ordered pair for the vertex of this parabola? Well, remember the h is the x, and the k is the y. So x minus 3, we have the opposite of 3. So this first, the x coordinate is going to be 3. The k would be this negative 11. So that y is going to be negative 11. So the ordered pair for the vertex of this parabola is 3, negative 11. Now, if we want to reverse this to go back to standard form, we can do that too, and it's really satisfying. Let me alternate my board here. So if we have our x minus 3 squared minus 11, we can rewrite this as x minus 3 times x minus 3 minus 11. And then, you guessed it, we just FOIL this out. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. And this negative 3 times x is another negative 3x. And negative 3 and negative 3 is positive 9 minus 11. Now let's combine like terms. There's no other square, so we keep x squared. We can combine these negative 3x to negative 6x. And then we can combine the positive 9 and the negative 11 to negative 2. And that is the equation that we started with. So we know we did everything right, and it's so fun when things work out, isn't it? All right, well now you have an idea on how to convert from standard form to vertex form, given that the coefficient for x is 1. So I hope you have an awesome day, and I hope you learned a little bit more about parabolas.